Hello, everyone. I'm Paul Lau, SMUD's CEO and General Manager, speaking to you from my home base here in Sacramento, California. Thanks to C Prime and Smart Energy Water for hosting this virtual summit. I became SMUD CEO at the beginning of October. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share with you our vision to reach absolute zero carbon emission by 2030. SMUD's 2030 clean energy vision is the most aggressive and ambitious carbon reduction efforts in the country. It commits us to reaching absolute zero carbon emission by the end of this decade. It won't be easy by any means, but I absolutely believe we can and we must get there. Our 2030 energy plan is a collaborative vision that will benefit the entire Sacramento community and ideally help other utilities and cities to build cleaner and more sustainable futures. Before going into the details about how we plan to achieve this and explaining this urgency, I'll start by providing some background information on SMUD for perspective. SMUD has been providing electric service to California Capital Region for nearly 75 years. The residents of Sacramento wanted a say in their energy future and voted to create their own community-owned electric utility in 1923. After more than 20 years of court challenges, SMUD replaced Pacific Gas Electric and began operations on December 31st, 1946, the first year of what became known as the baby boom. Our service territory encompasses 900 square miles in Northern California, all of Sacramento County, and a small slice of neighboring Placer and Yolo counties. We're currently the nation's sixth largest public electric utility, serving 640,000 customers and a population of nearly 1.5 million. With approximately 2,300 employees, we are one of the Sacramento region's largest employers, and our 2020 budget is $1.7 billion. We have a diverse power supply with approximately 1,000 megawatts of gas-fired generation, 688 megawatts of hydroelectric generation in the Upper American River projects in the Sierra Nevada, more than 200 megawatts of wind, and a large portfolio of contracted renewables. Our power mix is now about 50% carbon-free and will become increasingly cleaner in the years ahead as we increase the percentage of renewables. SMUD's rates are among the lowest in the state, about 38% lower than the neighboring investor-owned utilities. We've been the top-rated utility in California in customer satisfaction for nearly 2 decades and are respected across the country and even the world as an environmental leader. SMUD is governed by a 7-member board of directors that determines policies and appoints the CEO, general manager, who is responsible for SMUD's day-to-day operations. The board selected me as CEO and general manager this past summer, and I started my new position on October 3rd. It is a tremendous honor to be entrusted with the responsibility of leading an organization with SMUD's reputation and history. The board's decision to select an internal candidate was a strong endorsement of SMUD's direction and a testament to the vision and leadership of my predecessor, as many of you know, Alan Orchard. I've spent my entire professional career at SMUD, starting out as a college intern in the early 1980s. When I graduated with an electrical engineering degree in 1984, I joined SMUD as an assistant engineer. Now, prior to being named CEO, I have served in several executive leadership positions, the most recent being Chief Grid Strategy and Operations Officer, which I had the responsibility for SMUD's power supply and distributed energy resource strategies. My first order of business as CEO is building on the great work that Alan Orchard did in guiding us through and beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. With more than half of our workforce working remotely since March, we are continuing to provide the reliable service our customer expects. We have also adopted a number of measures to help our customers through this difficult economic times, such as suspending all disconnections and making it easier to access our low-income rate assistance programs. We've also continued our unabated support of local nonprofits and community organizations that need help more than ever during this pandemic. Now, SMUD has a long history of pioneering renewable energy programs and standards. In 2018, we reduced our greenhouse gas emission by 50% from the 1990 levels, the equivalent of removing 377,000 vehicles from the road. SMUD also helped grow the local market for solar development by providing $130 million in customer incentives to install solar on more than 15,000 local rooftops. Now, currently, there are about 170 megawatts of utility scale solar and 215 megawatts of rooftop solar, approximately about 40,000 households in SMUD service territory. In other words, we are on a similar ground when it comes to environmental leadership. Our commitment has grown exponentially as the effects of climate change on California becomes clearer through lengthier droughts and rampant wildfires. SMUD's urgency to decarbonize our power mix goes beyond wanting to fight climate change. Decarbonization will greatly improve Sacramento's air quality. And that's extremely important because we are situated in one of the dirtiest air basins in the country. We have few of the refineries and smokestack that people often associated with air pollution, but Sacramento does experience very hot summers. And we're also situated in a valley and some of the busiest interstates, highways in California running right through our town. And in the case of statewide, the transportation sector, not the energy sector, is the largest emitter of greenhouse gases. And making matters worse, much of the smog generated in the more populous San Francisco Bay Area is blown inland and is blocked by the foothills and the mountains to the east. Accordingly, our childhood asthma rate are off the charts. In the American Lungs Association's 2020 State of the Air report, Sacramento was ranked the 5th most polluted city in the country. So improving air quality benefits the environment, public health, water quality, and much more. Now, our path to zero carbon visions occurred in 3 steps. In 2018, SMUD staff developed and the board approved a 2040 energy plan that committed SMUD to achieving a net zero greenhouse gas position by 2040. The California Energy Commission approved our plan in early 2020, saying SMUD's integrated resource plan filing lays out an ambitious roadmap for lowering greenhouse gas emission in the Sacramento region while maintaining low rates and reliability. By committing an investment of nearly $7 billion over the next 20 years. The benefits of the plan will be spread across the entire region and will benefit future generations. Our approach maximizes local investments in renewable energy and improves air quality. It will drive inclusive economic development, create jobs, and sponsor innovation. Crucially, the benefit will reach often overlooked disadvantaged communities. We're committed to lowering not just SMUD's carbon footprint, but the entire Sacramento region's 64% by 2040. Now, a key element of the 2040 energy plan is a $2 billion investment in the electrification of buildings and transportations. As our reliance on carbon-based fuels decreases every year, increased electrification of 2 of the largest energy users, buildings, and transportation will greatly reduce greenhouse gas emission, improve local air quality, and spur economic development. Now, on the building front, we are partnering with developers to create new all-electric single-family and multifamily housing developments. The program was the first of its kind in the nation, offers design assistance and financial incentive to builders of up to $5,000 per all-electric single-family home and up to $1,750 for all-electric multifamily units. On the transportation front, SMUD has supported electrification since the early 1990s for a variety of reasons, the foremost being air quality benefits. And we are greatly increasing our investments in such electric transportation solutions as charging infrastructures, electric school buses, managed charging pilots, and more. As our power mix gets progressively cleaner, relying more on non-carbon resources such as hydroelectricity, solar, and wind, electrification becomes the most realistic and economical way to decarbonize. Now, approximately 1 year after approving the 2040 plan that we submitted to the CEC, the SMUD board made an even stronger statement about the urgency of climate change and for Sacramento to take a leadership position. The board adopted a climate emergency declaration in July 2020 that committed SMUD the even more aggressive goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2030, 10 years earlier than the plan approved by the CEC, the California Energy Commission. The SMUD board said with the declaration that the stakes are too high to not move as quickly as possible. Now, the difference between net zero carbon energy and zero carbon energy is wide enough to drive a truck through. Zero carbon energy is provided solely by non-carbon resources such as solar, wind, hydro, and biomass. Net zero carbon, on the other hand, can be produced by burning fossil fuel, but with carbon offset to neutralize their emission. When I accepted the CO position, I introduced SMUD's 2030 clean energy vision. Building on the board's climate declaration, I have tasked the entire organization with developing a roadmap that gets us to zero carbon emission by 2030. We can't afford to waste any time on this. We owe it to our children and grandchildren, our community, our environment. We owe it to ourselves to seize the moment. I hope I've explained why we're doing this. Now to the harder part, the how. As in how are we going to get to zero carbon in 9 years without compromising our world-class reliability and affordable rates? So we have a multi-department team of SMUD experts working now to translate our vision into an action plan, our 2030 zero carbon plan that I'll take to our board on March 31st, 2021. Now, the plan focuses on 4 main areas. First, proven clean technology. Now, this encompasses wind, solar, geothermal, hydro, biomass, short duration battery storage, and demand response. Now, these are technologies and resources we already have at our disposal and are already included in our carbon reduction efforts. While today's carbon-free technology isn't capable of getting us to zero carbon, these resources can get us very close, at least 80% or maybe even 90% of the way there. Second is new technology and business model and potential partnerships. We'll identify new technology and business model options that enable us to work with partners in researching, piloting, and possibly bringing to scale new technologies. This could include power to gas technologies such as hydrogen and methane, and long duration energy storage options such as flow batteries and compressed air storage. New business models may include virtual power plants. There's a network of decentralized medium scale power generating units such as wind farms, solar parks, and combined heat and power units. Now, while these options aren't yet readily available to scale to the level we need, they hold the potential to replace natural gas generation. And then third, natural gas generation retirement and retooling. Now, the plan will provide some options for retiring and or retooling our gas plants. We're currently conducting a high-level assessment of the gas-fired plants that are currently vital to providing our customers with around-the-clock reliability. Hydrogen blending, or using hydrogen as a fuel, can reduce emissions from gas-fired plants. We're working with consultants now to assess operational impacts, costs, and other challenges associated with using hydrogen. Also, we recognize that replacement and retooling would occur in the years probably closer to 2030. Now, fourth is financial and regulatory strategy. The financial aspect of the 2020 zero carbon plan includes estimated cost ranges and associated rate impacts, potential alternative revenue sources such as partnerships and grants, investments, schedules for expanding our existing clean technology, and research and development options. Now, the regulatory strategy will address barriers such as omnibus, permitting and construction timelines, and integrated low and no carbon energy options into regulations and codes. I'm committed to keeping rates increases at or below the cost of living index as we move toward the zero carbon target. Partnering. We're including our customers in the process of developing the zero carbon plan. We are beginning this month to gather inputs through public meetings from customers, nonprofits, and community partners, industry experts, and other stakeholders. Their participation is crucial and critical. For us to succeed in this decarbonization and sustainability effort, we need the support of a wide range of players, including elected officials, community leaders, technology companies, car manufacturers, solar companies, environmental groups, and so on. One of my primary goals as SMUD CEO and General Manager is to use the organization's power and influence to reach and to engage new and diverse stakeholders. The desire will be put to the test with a zero carbon plan, and I intend to work and collaborate and gain this community support as we attempt to do something no large utility has ever done before. The percentage of our power mix that comes from state certified renewables, which doesn't include large hydro, is currently 33%, or 1/3. If we include our non-carbon hydro generation, the percentages climbs to about 50% or half. I'm passionate about our vision and firmly believe that we can totally remove carbon from our power mix. I foresee a future in which our customers allow us to use their resources, such as electric vehicles, or they participate in demand response to a degree that's not seen before. Today, we have 75 megawatts of demand response. If we can cost effectively get to 450 or 500 megawatts using demand response, that's more than replace a gas-fired generator. Electric vehicles could be a real game changer if we access the energy stored in batteries and supply to our customers when needed. For example, I have a Model 3 in my garage, which has about 100 kilowatt hours of storage. I could plug the batteries into the grid and supply 5 kW per hour and more with no issues at all. The second part is attracting investments and other external funds. There are hundreds of millions of dollars available right now to address climate change, and there's also grant funding. We can't get there using just our customers' money. But if we partner with the private sector, regulators, and the community at large, we can achieve our goals with rates that remains affordable to our residential and business customers. So in considering such a challenging goal, it helps to put a human face on what we're trying to achieve. My wife and I have 3 adult or nearly adult children, and we obviously wish the best for all of them. But what excites me the most is that in my many years of working at SMUD, which encompasses their whole lifetime, this is the first time my kid has been genuinely interested in what their dad is doing at work. I guess it's better late than never, right? The notion of zero is exciting to them because they can imagine the difference it will make in their lives and in the life of future generations. Young people are worried about climate change, and they're desperate for us to do something about it before we reach the point of no return. We have a once in a generation or lifetime opportunity to build a brighter and more sustainable future. I mentioned SMUD's workforce earlier and the great work that they're doing to continue to deliver reliable electricity and great service to our customers and our community. Now, this slide shows a bit of a day in the life during the pandemic. We have employees climbing poles, making masks for healthcare workers in their off time, and employees supporting other customers from home while the children are nearly learning remotely, and they haven't missed a beat. So these are the faces of the people who join in my excitement to grab opportunity to make the future better for our children and get grandchildren and turn it into a reality. So again, thank you very much for listening and giving me the opportunity to tell you about SMUD's clean energy vision. And I want to say a happy holidays to everyone. Wishing everyone a safe and healthy holiday seasons. Thank you again.